What's up guys, my name is Tom, welcome back to another video, to here back to the last two question mark challenge at Silverstone for the second time because it's going to be a double header this weekend. We're going to drive with the F2 cars at Jack Aitken in the Campos. Last week we didn't have the last question mark challenge with the F2 cars because I was a little bit busy and I just managed to with the F1 cars, you know, but here we are back on the charge with the F2 cars and we'll see what we can do by starting in last place as the Brit is racing at home. By the way, at the time that I'm recording this, it's happening the F2 qualifying. It's 6 minutes to go at the moment and Jack Aitken is in P2, so we'll take pole position, but doesn't matter here because we're going to start in last place. So make sure to smash like a scratch, and if you do see plenty more Formula 1 and F2 content, it really motivates me to make more. And make sure to tell me on the comments which position are you going to finish in this challenge, and maybe we're going to jinx something, you're going to jinx something, and maybe I'm going to jinx something, but there's not much to jinx about in F2. But strategy wise, it's going to be a soft medium strategy, and I'm going with this strategy. I'm not going with the alternate one, which sometimes is real powerful around here, but we're going to stick with the normal strategy. 5 red lights for the British Grand Prix. It's going to be a 50% distance of a feature race, 15 laps ahead of us, and it's lights out and away we go. It was a terrible start against everyone because it's so much harder now to get good starts. I need to get a little bit of practice with these cars, but we managed to go sail past and run outside of Mahavir on the 2019 cars because we don't have the 2021s at the moment. We will receive updates sooner or later by Cody's as we dive down inside of more couple of cars, Ralph Boschong and now of Tatiana Calderon. So it's an overtake corner by corner. Calderon doesn't really want to give that position back, but we managed to get our elbows out, no front wing damage for both of us, and that says, I believe, into P16. So it's been a good start, but the progress is going to be much slower than a question mark challenge with the F1 cars when we're driving a Mercedes or Ferrari, because basically if you're not familiar with F2, every single car has equal pace. So that's the reason why there's so much closer racing in F2 than in Formula 1 in every single race. But we get a good exit and then manage to go side by side with Nicholas Latifi, very close to his side pod, a little bit of a wobble as you can see, but managed to dive down inside through Cops, and we are in P14, but we are not done yet because we have a good run on Nick de Vries as well. So these guys that were in front in the 2019 season are way down the order in this challenge, and I think the thing that I noticed in the F1 game as we managed to go run outside of de Vries through Maggots, Beckers and Cops complex. As I was saying, in the 2019 F2 cars, in the F1 2020, I noticed that the guys that used to be ahead in the real life season are way behind the lights of the Tams and the Nick de Vries, and Guan Yu Zhou in P11 up ahead. So it's a thing that I noticed. Make sure, tell me on the comments if you have this or it's just me in my game. But I always get these guys way down the order as we dive down inside the penultimate corner on Sergio Sede camera. Callum Ilott setting the pace, the early pace of the race. So at the moment he is leading, and at the moment I can see in the qualifying that he's a little bit down the order. So let's hope that Callum Ilott gets a better qualifying. But we are making good progress, much better than I was expecting, going purple on the second sector. So definitely the pace is being really good in these soft tires. I always do better with the softest comparator tire in these F2 racing as we try to get a look on Guan Yu Zhou, but then we managed to take a wider line and then a tighter line, and that manages to try to go run outside. Can we make this move going a little bit deep, but then we're going to close in the door, park the bus to make sure that he doesn't make the switchback move. We are in P11 and ahead of us I believe the other ART of Nikita Mazepin that is on the point. So I smell a reverse grid pole for this last question mark challenge. Generally is the objective, that is finishing P8, which is going to mean reverse grid pole in the sprint race, despite not doing the sprint race, but I always like to imagine. But maybe we can do something better than that, because at the moment pace is being really good, but at the same time a little bit worried once we fit the hard tires, because I don't like the hard tires around this track, I'm not gonna lie. But for now we're going to focus in this stint and take the most of these soft tires, of these red stripe tires, as we get a nice run on Mazepin going round outside through Stowe. An easy move, P10, a little bit of understeer. I felt a lot of understeer around this circuit because before jumping into these cars I was doing the F1 challenge, the last question mark challenge with the F1 cars. It's going to be out tomorrow after the real life F1 qualifying. And I was so used to the F1 cars that I was throwing the corners on practice like if it was an F1 car, as we set the fastest lap. So definitely we're in the pace. So it took me a few more laps on practice to get a little bit used to it, and I was feeling still a little bit understeer because I wasn't 100% used to these F2 cars. But after the laps go, I'm going to get more experience. But it's just a funny thing. So if you see my driving not being the best with these cars at the moment. I know that I'm not the best driver in this game by far, but I always give my best and try to improve on time trial and all that stuff. But at the moment I think we're running with 102 difficulty, so I think that's pretty decent for F2 cars. That many people struggle, but I always enjoy to drive these cars. And talking about the race, coming back to the race, we dive down inside of the Kyoto through Stowe. He tries to take a slight look, as you can see, but now I'm going to take a risky decision. That is, I'm going to pit a lap earlier and already dress a brand new set of hard tires, because I know that every single time that I come to the pit, I always get held up by the AI cars. So I'm going to take a gamble. Maybe it can go wrong, because maybe I'm going to be much lower, because these hard tires I think are 2 compounds harder than in F1, I believe, because there's no mediums, it's just soft or hard. So the pace difference is going to be massive, but hopefully I was already starting to feel some wear in the softs, and the progress I think was going to start to be slow and slow. So I decided to take a gamble, and we're going to fit the hard tires lap earlier, if I'm not wrong, against these guys. And I was talking about Callum Ilott being down the order, I believe. I already forgot, but at the moment he's in pole position. Jack Aitken in P3, so doing the commentary in the game and doing the qualifying report at the same time. I am in Sky Sports, but we're going to focus now. We have to put a good in lap to make sure that we make this undercut work, but I was feeling a little bit nervous, and I need to get some temperature in these hard comparative tires, because remember, in F2 there's no tire blankets, so the tires are going to be cold as ice. And as you can see, is a true proof that I was struggling with the grip at the moment because of the temperature, having a massive tank slapper, and the back end can be a little bit more unpredictable in F2 than in F1. But once you get used to these cars and get a master of it, I can say, considering your parameters in F1, considering your speed, these cars are so much fun to drive, and it's very unfortunate that not many people jump in these cars into online. Once I am in choosing the lobby, I never see a lobby with F2 cars, which really upsets me about. But we've been jumped by everyone, and the undercut unfortunately hasn't worked. So now we have to do all over again. And Callum Ilott got pole position for this Grand Prix, and Jack Aitken, where at the moment we're driving, got P3. So if he drives like I'm driving at the moment, he's going to win by an absolute mile. But things are not like this. But and Robert Joosman, P11, Jesus, that's way down the order for the championship lead. So let's forget now about real life qualifying. Let's focus in the race, because we have a lot of work to do if we want to score points and get a reverse grid pole, or even better than that. But Fox with him, he needs to run Manuel Correa and dive down inside. We're back on the points, going a little bit deep into Stowe, but we managed somehow to get the traction against the Sauber. And we are in P10 already on the points, but I'm not done yet, because we can see that is a huge train ahead of us, and I'm smelling that we can get some good overtakes here, because these guys can overtake can't overtake each other, can battle each other, and we're catching them very rapidly. And I can see an Arden and another car. One of them is Hubert, because Calderon is way down the road. As I'm trying to take a look around, as I've Mazepin second time with them trying overtaking this race. So just see how much time that I lost. And it is one of the MP Motorsports that overtook Antoine Hubert, and now is Giotto trying to go on his side. We're already clear Mazepin, and these guys are going side by side. Maybe we can take the pieces, because they're going to lose a lot of time to each other. And Hubert managed to hold the position at the moment, and we have to settle down behind Giotto. We were gaining, but I wasn't going to send it into turn 1. That would be really silly, and we leave the fight for another day. But for another corner, maybe we go on inside of the Unite Virtuosi, and we are already in reverse grid pole position. But I'm not done yet, because now I'm going to try to catch Hubert and maybe catch King. But King is waltzing away so fast, as you can see, 2 seconds up the road. So it's going to be really challenging with 6 laps to go. So maybe the best we can do is try to overtake Hubert. But at the moment I'm trying to push as hard as I can, but I can't find a way to overtake Hubert. He's so good in the corner exit, and we skip forward on to lap 12. We have some yellow flags, and look at this, and that's what Hubert already has, and we're actually pulling away at Kyoto. So we are kind of a league of our own, but we're going to be promoted 1 position, because Jordan King is out of the race. He was ahead of Hubert a few moments ago, not anymore, and we've been promoted 1 free position, P7, and that was the race. I tried to catch Hubert, but then I give up basically. and someone got my fastest lap. It was Julian Lacey, and decided, okay, let's bring it home. I think I'm happy with what I've done today, and he's going to be P6. Callum Ilott wins the Grand Prix, so will he convert the pole position in real life to a race win? Well, the game might jinx it, because there he is, he wins the Grand Prix, this last 2 question mark challenge, but for us, Jack Aitken is going to be P7, which in real life tomorrow would be not a positive result, considering that he's going to start in P3, but it was a very fun challenge nonetheless, with a lot of overtakes. The undercut didn't work, but we fought back, and that's what matters. We are the driver of the day, and yeah, it was a very fun challenge. There he is, Callum Ilott, point his finger to the sky, and we'll see if tomorrow this is going to happen. Maybe tell me your predictions for this Grand Prix as well, guys. I always like to interact with you, but guys, that has been the video. Make sure to smash like and subscribe if you see plenty more Formula 1 and F2 content. I'm planning to bring some F2 content to the channel, apologies, but at the moment I'm trying to focus more in career mode, so I hope you guys understand that, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the career mode content in the channel in these last few weeks. It takes a little bit of work, but I always do that, and seeing your support makes me to do even more. But there he is, Callum Ilott wins the Grand Prix, followed by Schumacher and then Nobuharu Matsushita. Will Schumacher get another podium? He really needs to pick up the pace if he wants to be a championship contender, in my opinion. At the moment, Schumacher is not showing what he needs to show to be a contender for an F1 seat. But there is confirmation results, and that was a very fun challenge. Tomorrow, remember that is going to be out the last 2 question mark challenge with the F1 cars after the real life qualifying, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But for me, is everything, and I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time.